Hello, just want to run through this demo of Helpdesk buttons. And what we're going to do is we will initially talk about what the end user experience is, some of the high points of that you can customize, and then we will then turn from there and start looking at the report that you receive with every single ticket and how to customize that on the back end, including some security features and other items in the process. So we are going to trigger our software. I'm actually going to use a function key combination here. And every bit of this is customizable. All the text, all of the images can be white labeled. And on this landing page, we give the user the ability to have some light branching. So if you have another program that you like to use, maybe a portal through Desk Director or Cloud Radial, you could launch that here. You could launch URLs or even other applications. As you can see, this says Open Notepad. And what we're doing is we are giving the user, beyond this, beyond functions like Cloud Radial, Desk Director, we're not requiring the end user to do any infinite branching. We want to lower that barrier to entry and keep it as easy as possible for the user to submit a ticket so that we can have tickets submitted every single time. And with that, we are going to be collecting a slew of real-time diagnostics that we will flag and append into a report so that you have a good place to start. So to lower that barrier to entry, we've got the user's name and the email that we have them submit. And as you can see, these are already filled in. If a user has previously successfully submitted a ticket, we'll auto-complete that information so they don't have to type it in every single time. And the way that our system works is we're going to look into the PSA using that email address, and we're going to submit the ticket as that user. And so if the user puts in a personal email address that's not in your ticketing system, or if they maybe have a typo and put in the wrong email, it'll still be submitted just underneath a catch-all user account, and we'll cover that underneath our integration section. Here on this page, we want the end user to give us some useful information about their ticket. We know that sometimes they don't have the right terminology, and so they're confused about how to submit the ticket, maybe what to say. Sometimes they accidentally send off us on wild goose chases. So, what they say here isn't really that important, but hopefully they'll give us something. In this case, I'm going to say that we need to onboard a new client. And then we allow them to customize the flow of how they want to triage their tickets. Essentially, they can say how they want to be contacted. And these items are going to be submitted into the body of the ticket that gets into your PSA. However, one of the things that we've added is the ability to integrate and tighten up your connection with your PSA. So you could say with our automation rules, specifically our dispatcher rules, that if they select this item and this item, then to make the ticket a critical level or an emergency level ticket. And in the same vein, you could say if someone says new hire or onboarding, to put them in the new hire or onboarding queue, or maybe you have a specific technician who is well seasoned in onboarding new clients, and perhaps that is something that you would put in their queue as well. So those are things that you can do with our dispatcher rules. Our other form of automation is called Tier 2 Assist, and those are some actions that we will present at the end of this ticket submission process. So after the user has submitted the ticket, if they select this, I would like to schedule an on-site appointment, it will pop up a link to schedule their on-site appointment. Or what you'll see here is if new hire is mentioned, we actually have a rule that fires off a link to a form so that you can gather all of the information that you need. And it also gets appended into the body of the ticket. So you have the whole process built in with bespoke actions that you are able to create yourself using Python syntax. It's very powerful. And again, we'll hit on that when we hit the back end. This submission review page, it's the main keyword for this page is consent, affirmative consent. And so we want to give the end user the ability to see what they are submitting and even to opt out of it if they'd like to. So the three tabs that we have here are the submitting of diagnostic data. So we have the real-time computer information that we've collected at the point of them pressing the button. That gets submitted pre-flagged with good places to get started for your technicians. So we're giving them permission to do that right now. We've got our annotated slideshow of the user's last 20 actions before they press the button. This is all going to be compiled in a really slick HTML interface. We'll show you that in a second. And then we also have a remote access tool that we built on Apache Guacamole. It's entirely HTML5 based. It is very fast. We also have a remote access tool, a remote terminal tool that's tied into this. And this is intended, we're not replacing Splashtop or Screen Connect. We are just filling in holes in our RMM processes. Sometimes, you may have a new employee, especially right now when there's a bunch of remote work and work from home. You've got a lot of issues with, having computers that don't have your software installed on it. And so this is intended to be a backup tool for situations in those edge cases. This last box you'll see here is a consent box. As you can see, you can't submit the ticket without giving consent. This box here, you can customize it to say whatever you would like for it to say. You can say, I promised to eat ice cream for breakfast, and you're legally bound to that. We have confidential information. I'm not submitting confidential information to a non-protected identity. Our MSP signs a BAA with all of our end users. There are going to be certain rules that MSPs follow. We do have a security and compliance package that we'll talk about towards the end. That is an additional fee to get set up that is running on Amazon AWS. But in general, this is just again, affirmative consent, giving the end user the agency to make decisions on the behalf of their personal information. So we're going to submit the ticket. As I mentioned at the beginning, what we're doing right now is we're looking into our PSA, which in this case is ConnectWise Manage, and we're seeing if the email address is a user in the system. Once it sees that it is, it's going to submit the ticket as that user. And so you can see, congratulations, help data set to Tier 2 tickets demo. So the ticket has been submitted to the PSA, and we have these actions that have been populated based on the things that I just filled out. So it says, do you have a new hire you're onboarding? Please fill out the associated form. Excellent, so I'm going to go do that. And what we have right now is the ability to append Google Forms. So you can upload a Google form that you've created yourself. So Elizabeth. And you just go through, this can be whatever form you want. You can see the ticket ID number. This is part of the setup process for the forms that we'll go through. So that form has been submitted. I'm going to come back to my actions here. I don't want to reboot, but you can have features that get launched upon actions or phrases that the user has submitted or selected. You can also have some actions that occur all the time or randomly if you have a survey. And then here's our scheduling thing. We actually are working with TimeZest here. So you can see we've got our TimeZest link. It's searching for dates. I'm just going to select when I want to talk to them. Sounds good to me. So, and that's the process there. We've submitted a ticket. As you can see here, we've got our ticket number. We've got our the user portal link if we want to go and check on our ticket as it's working on it. But for the most part, it was a very simple, no education really required, no training required in order to be able to submit a ticket. And it's gathering a bunch of information that would require a conversation anyway. So let's close this window and let's talk a little bit about the submission of that process and what you get with it. One of the things to talk about is this is all fine and good if you are connected to the internet, but one of the problems that we do run into on a regular basis is what if the user's computer isn't connected to the internet and that's what they're trying to submit a problem for. And so what we've done is we've actually, we've solved this by creating our own QR code and QR code scanner. And if the user can't submit a ticket via normal network processes, we take all the information that they filled out in that form process and we compress it into a QR code. And so this QR code has all of the data that we just, the problem statement, the different selections that they took, and it's all compressed into this QR code. And if you can scan that with your native iPhone or Android camera app, and it will take you to a little result that says your ticket has been submitted, this is your ticket number. So you can get that ticket information submitted to your PSA without any network connection. And what's going to be associated with that as well, it's going to be in the body of the ticket, are 10 network tests. So even if you can't you can't connect to their computer because there's no network, you will get an alert that a ticket has been submitted, that there's a problem, and you'll also have a head start on what that problem is. It'll tell you if there's a broadcast storm, or if a cable's been unplugged, or if the Wi-Fi is weak and maybe they're on the guest Wi-Fi. So that's a really great feature that we've built in to help make sure that you get a ticket every single time.